Sunday, June the 17th, 2012, down at Caterham in Surrey. Just about to undertake free walk 111, which is a long one in keeping with the longer days. 16 miles between here and Knockholt, where I was a few months back. It's a North Downs walk essentially. Quite an urban start here, but hopefully we'll soon get away from that. Reading the text, there's going to be some noise from the M25, I understand, but hopefully that won't be too prominent. Weather's okay today thus far. Bit of cloud up there. Rain's predicted by AccuWeather, which I find more reliable than the Met Office, at 6 PM, 5 to 6 PM. It's now 11:15, so hopefully I'll be done before the rain comes. Temperature about 20 degrees, so very pleasant walking weather. Bit of a breeze as well, as I'm sure there will be up on the downs. Let's get cracking. Before I do that though, just to let you know, there's a number of shops nearby for provisions, etc. I wish I'd read the notes before I got here, because I spent a lot of money on my sandwiches on the platform. Right, 5 minutes in. We're away from all the noise and hubbub at the end of Timber Hill Road, and now ascending the footpath up onto the downs. Okay, point 4 of the text, just crossed the busy A road, as you can possibly hear in the background down there, and I think now we're slowly but surely getting up onto the downs and away from the hubbub. Point 5 of the text, there's a junction of footpaths here. The one you don't want, I believe, is that way, past through the farm buildings, but you want to go right, skirt round them, that way. A rather pleasant lane that we're walking down now, as mentioned in point 5 of the text. Still quite windy, so element of risk of branches falling down. Still quite damp underfoot, but nowhere near as bad as last week's walk. Obviously a different geology up here. Got bitten last week several places, so wearing the old citronella today just as a safeguard, but obviously, as I say, geology is a bit different, so shouldn't get too many mozzies up here. As we approach the end of the lane, the 1 kilometre mark, some of the views starting to open up. Again, just realised this is the longest day as far as I'm concerned, walking wise. That arrives next Thursday, I think it is. So henceforth, evening's getting shorter. I won't be doing a walk next weekend either. So this is, as I say, my midsummer walk really, which is why I've chosen a nice long one. So the text says that the path doglegs to the right past scruffy buildings. Well, I think that's wrong, because to the right seems to be into the yard. So I'm going to assume it's to the left. Seems to be the way the path goes. Soon find out. Yes, the text is incorrect. Clearly shown on the map as well as being a left turn. But you can just see over there in the corner the little yellow symbol, the footpath marker, through these stinging nettles. Otherwise you could easily miss that. This part of the footpath is not very well maintained at all. Stinging nettles, etc, etc. Another one of those lightning struck oaks. And then you come past this. What a gnarled old tree this is. Not sure what it is because I can't recognise the leaves. So point 7 of the text here. I think the text is indicating that we can't go straight ahead, but we have to do a right here to join the North Downs Way in 400 metres. Yes, Mr. J. Back towards Caterham. Just trying to find the North Downs Way again now. And this week's death, poor old Fred. Obviously, like me, trying to find the North Downs Way again. Whilst trying to find it though, getting some great views. Further great views that I'm getting at the expense of still having not found the North Downs Way. Lost about 20 minutes so far. Okay, about an hour lost now, and I'm at this point back on the North Downs Way, I believe, Waldingham Countryside Walk. Whether it's the right route or not I don't know, but it gets me back on the North Downs Way. Okay, looking south towards Godstone. Getting ominously cloudier now. Okay, back on track clearly. Be hit and miss now if I can beat the rain towards the end of the day. Fingers crossed. This is the area of wild garlic mentioned in the text. Not in flower now, as a lot of plants aren't as we approach Midsummer's Day. So the amount of colour diminishes, I find. Just one mass of green really, prior to the deathly throes of autumn. Can just smell a very minor sniff of garlic in here. About a month, 6 weeks ago, this would have really hummed. Amazing. And you can hear, talking of hums, the hum of the M25 in the distance. Never far away. Ascending the path towards Tandridge Hill, with a country lane just down to the right. Information board here at Tandridge Hill with an accompanying respite point. Now, look at this for a view. Apart from the M25, that's pretty good, isn't it? South Downs there in the very distance. Still, the fact that we're still in the M25 zone means that my train fares today were cheap. Put them on the old Oyster, £1.50 each way with the network card discount, which I highly recommend that you put on your Oyster for off-peak travel. Not a lot of people know about that little bonus. Looking back southwest, from another bench just behind me. Drinking point for worker bees. Amazing. I presume they're drinking the moisture out of the moss from that little pool of water there. Charming. A precarious occupation, as you can see. Another death this week. Didn't quite make it. Now descending steps, getting increasingly nearer the noisy M25, as you can hear. I presume from the seat next to it, just here, that when this was undertaken, the project that is, it had a view. Obviously in the intervening 12 years, that's gone. The view at the bottom of the steps. Spoilt by the noise of the M25, of course. Point 11 of the text. This is views back southwest, or south-southwest, or thereabouts. South, south-southeast, southeast. With that scar ahead of me there. Quarry. Lunch is served for these red ants. Poor worm. Being eaten. Mother Nature in action. So as we descend down towards the M25, we've just come off of Oxted Downs, as you can see here, the National Trust land. Further look back at Oxted Downs from the corner of the quarry. As close now to the M25 as we get, thankfully. Now covering another section of Oxted Downs. Really close to the M25 here, as you can hear, just over there. Following the path, the permissive path, in reverse order to the red arrows through Titsey Plantation. Ascending now. Very pleasant woodland walking along the broad path. Nice and cool in here. Another lovely view from the footpath through Titsey Plantation. And another lovely view with an interesting Gothic looking building over there in the distance. Wonder what that is. Probably been converted into flats now. Previously a Victorian sanatorium. God knows. Oh dear, excuse that. Most of these gaps in the woodland seem to have been created from tree fall from the 87 storm, I think, and in good navigational fashion. Most of the trees are pointing in a northeasterly direction. One of the red arrows as mentioned in the text, and we're walking against the grain. This would make a fine lunchtime stop, but I'm going to press on to the lunchtime pub and have my lunch, my sarnies somewhere around about there. As the text says, this is probably a more impressive route than the North Downs Way itself. Certainly recommend taking this option. Great views. And another fine viewpoint here provided by the Rotary Club of Titsey. Oh dear, what's it got to say? Ah, the building is Titsey Place, 16th century building. So it's not a Victorian sanatorium, if that's what that's describing there. And a bit of oh dear, excuse me, bit of information about the Rotary Club of Titsey and District, and some fine views. South Downs Way over there in the distance. You can tell we're getting near a car park. Signs of human presence, which there hasn't been much of thus far on the walk, I'm pleased to say. Lovely wren song. So this land owned by the Titsey Foundation. Wood journey is upwards here to the lunchtime stop. The thing I like about the North Downs Way, the advantage it has over the South Downs Way, is the amount of tree cover. Makes it more interesting, I think. Information board here next to the small car park, telling us about the Titsey Foundation walk that we've just done, or part of it. That up there ahead of us is the recommended lunchtime stop, which is an interesting looking pub, but there you go. I'm not traipsing up there at the moment because I'm not stopping there. I want to find a more tranquil location. And this B road is in fact incredibly busy. The B269. Walking through woodland near Pilgrim's Farm on the map, and finally the hum of the M25 has almost disappeared. Incidentally, we're at about 250 metres at this point, hence Botley Hill being a Marilyn. I think that's can't remember what height it has to be to become a Marilyn. Must sort that phone out. It's about the third time it's disturbed this film. Coming out into different scenery now as we move away from the M25. Delightful. Botley Hill over there on my right with its TV masts, and then views back southwest, south-southwest. And views to the south and southeast. Interesting feature there. Not sure what that is. Further absolutely delightful views. Coming up my lunchtime now, and a very late one it is. It's going to be 3 o'clock, but there's a church off the path shortly, which I plan to use. Just approaching my lunchtime stop, Tatsfield Church. Where interestingly today they're serving teas by the looks of it. Becoming quite a common feature in churches now. There is Tatsfield Church. That's as near as I'm getting it, going towards it, because don't want to get inundated with people asking me if I want a cup of tea, which I don't. This will make today's lunchtime stop. Dedicated by R.H. Stubbington, who died in '93. Okay, 3:30, lunch has been had, and I am well behind schedule. This is approximately halfway through the walk. It's taken me 4 hours to get here, thanks to getting lost a bit at point 7. So on that basis, another 4 hours to finish. So 7:30. My God, need to get my skates on. The old T-ream's doing well now, as you can see. Information board here telling us about Hill Park, Tatsfield, and a bit more on the North Downs Way. First route marker I've come across today, this one being in the lane where the large houses are, in point 21 of the text, Betson's Hill on the map. 65 mile to Canterbury, eh? 77 to Dover. And here is said lane with the very grand houses in it. Delightful views they've got on the other side. Can be seen here. The M25, a pleasant enough distance away from these to be quiet, but near enough to be useful. And of how strong the winds have been recently. Continuing on towards Westerham Hill Road, point 21 of the text still, where all the big houses are. So according to this, 3 miles to Knockholt. So not sure what that's all about. This is from Westerham Hill Road, which is rather busy. And that's the rather pleasant view that you get away from the road. This section I've done before in the past, coming towards this road though, in the reverse direction to what we're doing today. Isn't it amazing, right out here, London bus stops. Still, that's why I'm able to use my Oyster Card today. More of that lovely view. And our onward journey. Some lovely shades of green here. The sun on it. Further views coming out from the copse next to Westerham Hill Road. Still hear the hum of the M25 now. Views back towards Westerham Hill Road. Views from a point near Gray's Farm on the map. Fantastic. Notice we've got some of my good old trusty friends nearby. Seem docile enough. Mind you, they're Frisians, so if there's calves around, anything's possible. Fantastic views. We're also following a walk called Berry's Green Circular, Bromley Countryside Ranger Service. And let's have a look at those views from another angle. This time west, southwest. Great when the sun's shining, eh? And as you can see here, this barley's just beginning to turn colour. Won't be too many more weeks now with the sunshine. That's getting cut. And so the seasons move on. Interesting little resting seat there for somebody in the middle of nowhere. Very thoughtful. Kissing gate erected in memory of another keen rambler. 1911, a 205. So he had a good innings, didn't he? Yeah. Second original way marker next to this easily missed kissing gate, just after the memorial one. In the hedge on the left. A rather muddy but very pleasant green tunnel. Scenery becomes more pastoral now. Point near Brasted Hill Farm on the map. It's getting a bit greyer as well, as you will have noticed. We're now at that crucial witching hour, 5 o'clock. So fingers crossed nothing happens in the next hour, which is approximately how long I anticipate it taking to get back to Knockholt station. Maybe a bit longer. The old scenario, cattle all gather around the kissing gates, make it nigh on impossible to get by them because of the mud. Radio masts near Knockholt. Of course, we're not that far from Botley Hill, which is going to be very busy during the Olympic period, with all the VIPs arriving, wanting to avoid Heathrow, etc., in their private jets. Now, last time I did this walk, I think was early in the year, when 1 year when I did it, and somewhere around here should be able to see Canary Wharf, etc., on my left. Not at the moment though, because it's too overgrown. Outskirts of Knockholt, and this path has now become E2 of the European network. Crossing over the road here and skirting around this wood. More delightful woodland walking as we bypass Knockholt. And as evening begins to draw in, so the birds start singing again. Lots of variety on this walk, I must say. This is a very pleasant woodland stretch. Dense mixed woodland. Now I've got a Shepherd Neame pub walk thrown in there. Delightful blackbird song in the background. And a rather bizarre entrance to a park here going nowhere. Amazing, there's a whole field here full of nothing but dock leaves. What an amazing vista that is. It's been cut purposely to provide a view for the country house way down in the distance there. Not even sure if you can see it through this undergrowth. Anyway, quite interesting. I think so anyway. Obviously part of a large estate, because we've got this sign here. Trespassers, thieves and poachers beware. So just there in the very far distance above the tree level you can see Canary Wharf. Not so far from where I came this morning in Wapping. Amazing, all this tranquility out here, and still in zone 6 I think. Just about to do a left to Knockholt Pound. That TV aerial there, or mast, is marked on the map. Leaving the North Downs Way now and heading towards Knockholt Pound, which is down this very tranquil lane. 3 Horseshoes, Knockholt Pound. Possible late tea time stop or early tea time stop, depending on your speed. Knockholt village sign. Now on the footpath walking away from Holstead, and to get to this you turn left off the main road into a close called South Dean. Must be where Damien Hirst got his idea for the Olympics opening ceremony from. What a disaster that's going to be. here I am finally at Knockholt. Didn't bother filming the golf course section, A, because I was rushing, and B, because I've filmed it before on the Knockholt circular. But my rushing was in vain, as I've missed the 7 o'clock train and have now got to wait 15 minutes until the next one. Bad end to a very pleasant walk, really, and all down to missing the turn at 0.7 in the text. Wasted a lot of time there today. Should have been done by 6. As it turns out, I've missed the 7 o'clock train and I'm now here till 8. Won't be home till 9. Just as well the days are long, eh? Anyway, that was a very nice walk, the sort of walk that you don't want to end, really. But it has to. So, free walk 111, highly recommended. Nice long walk, even longer when you get lost. Anyway, I reckon I've done about 18 mile today at least. Officially 16, but with my navigational problems earlier, I reckon I've done at least 18. Let's see what the old pedometer says. Yeah, that says 18, and that's about 2 mile less than it should be. I recall that last week when I read the route distance. Anyway, sleep well tonight. Excellent walk.